Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism. And have you ever had someone say to you, can you just do it for me? So let's take this on. So can you just do it for me? Right? The people who say this to you aren't necessarily bad people or super manipulative people. Maybe they're a little manipulative. They may be well-intentioned or even desperate. They may be enablers, or they may be people who do not understand narcissism. And this may be a statement that is particularly relevant at holiday times of years. Though make no mistake, it can happen throughout the year too. Weddings, family reunions, and work meetings. So let's take this on. Can you just do it for me? What does it mean? It's not to do a thing. Saying, can you just do it for me, is often mobilized to coax you to spend time with a narcissistic person that you may have worked very hard on trying to disengage from, after recognizing the negative impacts of this person on your health and well-being. It may not even be just one person. It may be an entire family or workplace or organization. And you did the heavy lift to try to heal after a long period of time of blaming yourself, of trying everything under the sun, and then blaming yourself some more, and finally landing on a place where you either read the books or watch the videos or got the therapy or all of the above, and maybe even got to radical acceptance, and you really disengage or even end the relationship. And then you did the painful and grief-laden work of finally distancing, really disengaging from whomever this person was. Again, this theme often comes up with family, whether it's a parent or a sibling or an extended family member or multiple people in a family system. You may have even done it beautifully, disengaged and distanced, done it right, not told anyone, and even been gentle. You might have even said to your family, you know, I can't do it. It's not good for me to spend time with this person or people. I can't do it anymore. You may even finally be allowing yourself to feel again, to get into that space where you're able to feel empathy for that narcissistic person from a distance, not have to absolutely hate them, but also recognize that their issues, their behavior, their personality, even their backstory that got them here, you can see it. You even feel bad for them, but you do not intend to interact with them if at all possible. It's not easy to do, but you got there. And the few times you had to interact with them for whatever reason, you felt terrible afterwards. So then, someone you actually may care about within your family system, or that former colleague that you like, or that friend reaches out and says, hey, we need you to come to this event or be a part of that gathering. And you say, I am not sure I can do that. It is not good for me. I'd really prefer not to go. You say something nice but direct. You find a way to say it. And then that person, the person you actually like who's making this ask, says, can you just do it for me? Listen, from the most empathic point of view, the people who say, can you just do it for me, may be desperate to draw you in. And sometimes not just for terrible reasons, sometimes for actually decent reasons. They want you present at something that's important to them. Sometimes they're doing it for selfish reasons. They need an extra pair of psychological hands on deck and they know you're useful, or it may spread out the burden of having to deal with the narcissistic person. But it's not okay. The person who says, can you just do it for me? Which is basically, can you just show up and put up with this person regardless of how it hurts you, to lighten this other person's load or fulfill the kind of vision they have of some group of people or family? This is a form of triangulation, of manipulation, of selfishness, sloppiness, or interpersonal laziness. And the problem is that it works. Because you may really like the can you just do it for me person. They may usually be a really good person in your life. But having to manage the narcissistic people in a system brings out the worst in everyone. And in essence, they are weaponizing your loyalty, your loyalty to them, to break down something you painstakingly crafted, boundaries and protections and disengagement, and endured the grief to build it for their benefit. Anyone who is from a narcissistic family system has endured this. And it can actually bring up the old feelings of, am I a bad person because I stepped away? Am I the one who's cold? Am I the one who's being rigid? This kind of ask, when someone asks you, can you just do this for me? Can sometimes set people back in their healing a long way. Because when you do it just for them, you are now putting yourself back into proximity to a person it took you a long, painful time to disengage from. Now you may be better equipped to deal with their toxicity, especially if it's time limited. Radical acceptance means that you can breathe into exactly what this is going to be, and you recognize how bad it will be, and you don't go deep. You don't defend, engage, explain, or personalize. You ensure you build in something on the back end, whether it is therapy, a conversation with a supportive friend, meditation, sleep, rest, something to get your nervous system back online. You may also tell the, could you just do it for me person? No. And then depending on the nature and the personality and who that do it for me person is, you may be faced down with any number of things. It could be insults, it could be invalidation, it could be gaslighting, anything else to mobilize you to do the thing that they wanted you to do in the first place, which was to interact with a narcissistic person. So sadly, you also need to have a chat, or at least a mental review of what to do with the, can you just do this for me person? Because this cannot become a regular thing. It can't be this long-term, you being pulled in all the time. And if do it just for me person is willing to trade on your loyalty, you care about me, so do this thing that is harmful to you for me, it's tricky, right? Maybe it was a desperate one-off, and you can let them, okay, I'm going to do it this time, but never again. And if you want, you can share your why, your reason for not wanting to do it. But remember, the vast majority of people still don't get this. And frankly, if they do get it and still did this to you, that is a problem. The grief of the narcissistic relationship and healing from it are the collateral losses that come from people who may not support what you need to do to keep moving forward and not remain stuck in the self-doubting, subjugated hellhole that is a narcissistic relationship. That sometimes means losing people from our lives or distancing from people who are not necessarily narcissistic or toxic, but were status quo maintainers, enablers, short gamers, or just selfish. And it can feel like your network can shrink and become smaller and smaller with each of these kinds of things and asks happening. But this, can you do it just for me gambit, can definitely set folks who are healing back. And obviously, you need to assess these asks on a case-by-case basis. But when it happens to you, please try to not let it take you back to self-doubt and self-blame, but see it as the tactic it is and communicate with the could you do it for me person to see if they can hear you. And in some cases, they may surprise you and actually hear you clearly and let go and say, I understand why you can't come. And then that would then speak to the strength of a relationship you have with someone who just wanted to loop you in. And you may even be able to work with them collaboratively to help them craft a solution. But can you do it just for me? Can you be in a situation of harm just for me? A lot of us fall for it, but when it happens to you, it may set you into having to think about this more clearly and a lot of steps, which I hope this video clarified. Thanks again.